Debbie. All right, we are going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. We're going to get going. All right, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night. Let's talk. My name is Ann Carell. Before we get started, and I share a little bit about my journey, we just want to make sure, in case somebody talks about coaching or income or any numbers or anything, that we go through this tonight. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, persistence, skill, confidence, and leadership. Your success is determined on how well you exercise these qualities. Please see the Optavia income disclosure for statistics and earnings of coaches. All right, now that we've gotten through that, thank you guys for being here. This is actually our first Let's Talk of April. You guys, look at this, we're counting down to the summer. Thank you so much for being here. Like I mentioned, my name is Ann Carell. This is my transformation story. Once you grab that, I'm actually going to come off share for a second so that we can chat, and we'll do that again. I wanted to share a little bit with you about my journey and what brought me here. So for those of you who don't know, I actually came on program back in 2017. I lost 95 pounds on program, so I was a 3X in that first photo. And that dress that you saw that I wore in Dallas a few weeks ago was a small. I had some autoimmune diseases. My blood sugar was uncontrolled. This program was absolutely just what in our pre-party we shared, freedom. I gained an incredible amount of freedom from this program and the health journey. And today we're going to be talking about sabotage. And if you don't think that
I'm trying to get it off of here.
That I encountered sabotage during my journey, I absolutely did, sometimes by myself. And so we're going to share a little bit about that.
No, it's on my computer
tonight. Let me go back to sharing our screen. And I'm going to introduce our first speaker, whose name is Mike McDaniel. I'm very, very excited to introduce Mike tonight and let you hear a little bit about his journey. And his family has had a tremendous journey. I do have a little secret. As he's speaking, you might see me pop a photo back up and share something pretty powerful with you guys. But for now, Mike, do you want to come off mute and share your story?
Sure. Hi, and thank you. I'm Michael McDaniel. You may know me as Viking Mike or VM. I came on plan in 2019 after watching my wife Brandy have success on program. Now a little bit about me. I'm the dad of a large family. I have 5 kids, 2 grandkids, and of those kids, I also have a special needs grown son and a 7-year-old. We are a very, very busy family with many activities. The main reason I came on plan was because I was 54 years old and 250 pounds, and my weight was going up and not down. Like most, I attributed this to age and hormones. I thought my metabolism had just slowed down, and that was it. Now, once I was on program, I learned that my not so great eating habits was playing a large part of that steady weight gain. I was obese, had a large belly, and high blood pressure. Within 3 months, I was able to lose over 50 pounds and the belly and come off blood pressure medicine, which I'm off of now. In 2001, on an off note, it's kind of a side story, I had a bad case of COVID, and it landed me in the hospital. It's my firm belief that I'm here today because I was on plan before I went in, and I was able to make my own lean and green meals through the menu provided at the hospital. As a result of this program, the nurse told my wife Brandy that out of the whole COVID unit, my blood sugar was the only one that stayed in normal range. The medicine used for COVID caused the blood sugars to spiral out of control. I was able to eat this way due to healthy habits that I had learned on program. I have maintained that initial loss since 2019, and thanks to this program, I'm now in the gym sculpting lean muscle. Now tonight I want to share with you some practical strategies that I use to help me combat self-sabotage on my health journey. When we first come on plan, we're excited. It's so simple, right? But if it's so easy, then why do many of us get tripped up? The structure is there, 5 fuelings, 1 lean agreement. All we have to do is put a fueling in our mouth every 2 to 3 hours and weigh and measure our lean and green meal per day. The challenge for many of us is that when we first come on program, we have very little discipline around our eating habits. This can make even a simple program seem challenging when our mindset hasn't caught up with our new lifestyle. This is why, to avoid sabotaging ourselves, it's important to leverage all the tools of our program. Tonight, I'm going to give you 5 practical tips that you can start using today that will help you be successful long term. Tip number 1, answer the phone when your health coach calls and be honest about your health journey. Your coach is trained to get you into fat burn, not just using the fuelings which are scientifically proven to achieve fat burn, but also in guiding you in the resources that you need along the journey to support you right where you are. Your coach is not there to judge you. They're here to support you on your weight loss goal that you set for yourself. For me, my wife Brandy is my coach. So if I don't answer her call, she will follow me into the other room. Tip number 2, understand that this is not a zero-sum game. It's not all or nothing. It would be very easy to sabotage. I would be very easy to sabotage myself and say, well, you blew it today. I didn't follow the plan, so now it's game over. But this is an easy self-sabotage. Don't fall for it. Get back on the horse. Go right back on plan. Is 100% on plan the best anyone can do? Absolutely. Will it get you to your goal faster? Absolutely. But is 99% today better than 0% yesterday? You bet it is. Stay in the game. You can do this. Remember, a speed bump is not a stop sign. Tip number 3, get into the life book and work through it. Creating space in your day to get you in your life book will change your life. I had a portion control problem in the Navy. It was take what you want, but eat what you take. So I filled my plate to the brim. Now, long after my days at sea have been over, it's a bad habit that stayed with me. If you brought a plate to me that I didn't deem had enough food on it, I was hungry before I even took a bite. I learned through the life book to change this sabotaging habit. If you only have a few minutes in the morning and evening to read, then do it. Set a timer on your phone for 10 minutes, read your life book. When the timer goes off, close the book and go about your day. It's not hard, don't make it hard. Tip 4, get into your client support page. Read the stories of others and comment. Be encouraging. Post your story in there and allow others to encourage you. Teamwork makes the dream work. I have success over not becoming a weight loss castaway by participating in the client support page. By getting into your client support page, you are insulating your journey by creating a healthy community of like-minded friends. Tip 5, finally, make these Tuesday night calls a rock in your schedule. They run at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. These calls are here to support you. Take full advantage. I'm constantly learning new things on these calls that are really helpful in my health journey. We are so thankful to Dr. A, who realized through his years of serving as a critical care physician that if we get on top of these habits and prevent disease, we have a real shot at changing our own health story and helping others change their health stories too. I'm so glad that you were able to take the time to be here tonight. We have the best program there is, and you have the tools you need to change your life for the better. Be sure to use them, and we'll see you at your goal.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was powerful. I wanted to make sure that you guys saw his family, right? Mike talked a little bit about the fact he had a lot going on, you guys. Do you see a lot of people there that could be excuses? Absolutely. And yet, what Mike decided to do was use those to fuel his journey. And so thank you so much for sharing that. 50 pounds and overcoming so many obstacles. I appreciate that. Okay, so I have asked someone else to come on and share a little bit about their journey as well. And I've also got a little surprise for you in the middle of her. So this is Amy Blunt, and she's going to come on and share a little bit about not just her loss, but what the last couple years years of her health journey have been like. And look at that sugar shot there, you guys. That's a little preview of something I'm going to share at the end. But Amy, come on off mute and share a little bit about your journey.
Hello. Hello, everyone. So, it's so good to be here with everyone on Tuesday night. Hello. I took the program, and my name is Amy Blunt, and I'm a certified Optavia health coach, and I'm so tickled to be here with y'all. I came to the program in March of 2018, and I lost 95 pounds, and man, what a journey, right? But the journey from March 2018 to today, not really a linear path, is it? Lots of bumps and lots of little snags and things along the way. And we all know sabotage happens from a lot of places, happens from our family, happens from activities, happens from me, right? So I came to program in kind of a strange, time in my life. We had made a massive move across the country, and we knew approximately 0 people. And it was, like I said, like a very, very strange time for us. And when you show the slide of my kiddos, we moved into an area where there were beautiful hikes and beautiful vistas, and my husband would take my kids to have daddy day, right? And so he would take my kiddos and go on these fantastic hikes. And it was a crystallizing moment for me when they reached the top one day. They came back with their beautiful pictures, and I realized I couldn't go. There was no way. There was no way for me to have gone on that hike. I would not have made it at 284 pounds. Absolutely not. I found myself, on the sidelines of my own life. Okay, you can go with that slide. I found myself on the sidelines of my own life, and it was not a fun place to be. I was, it felt, it was the first time I realized that I wasn't the main character in my own life, So I came into program, right? And I came to a space of finding myself in structure and all these things, lost all this weight. And then what happens? Something really hard happened. The holidays happened. And it wasn't a normal hard thing, right? It was a family member actually reached out to me and said that they were not willing to come to my house for the holidays if I wasn't willing to do all of the regular holiday things, if I wasn't willing to make the fudge and make the cookies and make the cocktails and all the things. And it threw me off. It was a huge shift for me. It was a huge space of hurt and astonishment. I didn't even realize it. It was a snafu, right? It was someone that I had no idea that was going to try to sabotage my journey. So I did. I went off for the holiday, and I came back, and my head was kind of spinning, and I didn't really know what to do. At this point, we didn't have a lot. Now we do, right? But what did I do? What did I do after that? I did this. I did exactly what we're doing right now. I came to the Tuesday night call. I started reading the books that my mentors read. I started listening to the podcasts my mentors listened to. I started creating goals for my life. I started realizing that if it was going to be, it was up to me. I started taking personal responsibility for every decision I made. And I started to shift. It was a big shift. And then a vacation, a big, massive vacation, a massive trip. We go away, and once again, I'm not prepared. I wasn't rooted in a way that I knew what to expect and what I was going to do. I didn't have a plan, right? And so I go on vacation. I come back once again. My head's thinking all over the place. What did I do? The exact same thing. I knew from the holidays that when I came back, I reached into structure. I got solid again on 5 and 1. I started with the Tuesday night calls. I would look on the Tuesday night calls before I had been on program and start listening to those to encourage myself and keep myself. I got into the community page. I know you hear it all the time, but it's so important because every single person there is just like you. they are doing the exact same thing that you are doing. They're wanting help too. And so I started reaching in there for encouragement. I started giving encouragement. That was also coaching. Coaching was another level to me of insulation for my own health because people were depending on me. And that meant something to me. I knew I had to give myself the oxygen. And so I did. Any way I could for oxygen to come into my body, I did it. I listened to the encouraging things. I started setting those goals. I started seeing those goals come to pass, right? Weight, health. I started striving for optimal health. I started striving for mental health, mental goals, right? And so I started realizing that all these things, so anytime there's this space of something different in my life, I know how to kind of guard my health in those things. Vacations are no big deal. There's my time. So, and if you'll put the picture back up again. Last year, I got to make the hard hike. I got to traverse the mountain and I got to see the vista for myself. And it was totally worth it, every space. And I'm so grateful for 4 years later getting to make all of the hard hikes. And now I get to look over to the next mountain and go, that's next. That mountain's next. Thanks so much for letting me share. So grateful.
Ooh, you guys. Woo, that was a lot. All right, thank you, Amy, for sharing. I love that. I love what Amy said. And if you look at those photos, that's why I really wanted to put those up here to share with you guys a little bit about what it means to us, right? What's on the other side of conquering this big mountain that we can call sabotage? What's on the other side? So look at that. She reached the peak. She reached the summit. That feels good, you guys. Because if I had not made the decision to come on and coach my friend, look at that. That's what you have in your hands with this program, the ability to offer someone freedom. If you were not on the pre-party, we had someone in the pre-party sharing how this program, she lost 50 pounds and she feels freedom. That's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. So, recognizing sabotage. This is not an easy topic. When I saw this topic, I had to sit and think for a little bit. Because that word itself is so powerful and it has so many meanings. What does it mean to self-sabotage? I think we all have an idea, right? But it really is any attitude or blueprint, any type of pattern that doesn't serve us, it doesn't match our goal, or it hinders our ability to achieve our goal. And one of the things that can happen to us, it's in the self-sabotage mode, is we have this imbalance that happens where we start feeling uncomfortable. Amy mentioned it. She's in a moment where there's something going on, you just get uncomfortable. And we call there's a cognitive dissonance where we kind of got this decision that we've got to make. Things are uncomfortable. It's not matching up. And we can either choose to stay on plan, right? And change what we're doing, or we can kind of reframe what we want and what our goals are and actually tell ourselves that we don't want that at all. We don't want it at all. And we can actually derail ourselves from our goals by convincing ourselves, well, it's not really comfortable. That's really uncomfortable to make that change. It kind of feels unpleasant for a little bit, and we stop ourselves. But I also want to tell you that sometimes sabotage legitimately comes from the other side, right? We can have friends, we can have family, we can have coworkers, and it doesn't have to be intentional, although it might be, unfortunately. And they sometimes can influence our own beliefs. They can influence our habits, our actions, in a way that can be destructive to our goals and our health. Anybody who has read through Elements in the Life book knows that Dr. A talks about our accomplices, right? Dr. A has us, and I wrote down the page there, he has us go through and list who are kind of our friends in our health journey, and who are those people that we know maybe are not in a place to support us. I want to talk a little bit about that because I think it's really important to think about that space and who is the person that is going to support us to get to our goal. Okay? As we go along, let's talk a little bit about what that looks like to sabotage ourselves. What does that mean? Ways that we can sabotage ourselves. So I found a little picture kind of for each one of those. One of them is actually pretty easy. It's what do we have in our home to eat? What are we bringing in? Sometimes we're in a space where we actually get a lot more control over what we're eating than other times. But what are you bringing in? If there's a thing in your life that is the thing that you know is a struggle for you, maybe it means that for you, you don't bring that into the home. In certain circumstances, you may ask someone in your house to hold on to that for you. I want you to feel empowered that whatever you've got to do in that moment, whether it's not bring it in, whether it's kind of turn it over, you are empowered so that you don't have to have that thing looking for you. I'm going to tell you guys a story. About 2 years ago, I was already at my health journey, at the end of my health journey, my loss phase, and my daughter was given some chocolate-covered pretzels for Christmas. I won't go into details about what chocolate-covered pretzels meant in my life, but I have a long history with them. And I had to make a decision of if I was going to look at those pretzels every day, or I was going to move them out of my view. And so I knew that I didn't want to self-sabotage, and I didn't want to go backward, and those were a trigger food for me. So we moved them out of view, we got them out of the space, and that was what I needed to do. The other thing that sometimes can set us aside or kind of off track us and cause us to sabotage a little bit, have you ever been in a circumstance where you're watching a movie or a show, or you're at a restaurant, and you intend to eat something and you end up eating a whole lot more? You didn't even realize it happened. I've done it, you guys. I remember one particular time that I did that. I was eating almonds out of a container, which is always a terrible idea. But at the time I thought, oh, I'm just gonna have 10. That didn't happen. And so now I know, okay, if I'm gonna have almonds, I've gotta set them aside. I've gotta set them aside in a container and just eat those. The other thing we can do is we can make a situation where we say, well, it's vacation. It's Mother's Day. It's Father's Day.
You're gonna go out twice in a dark?
It's going to be vacation time, right? And we give ourselves these excuses, but they're honestly times that can sabotage our journey. Amy shared an experience where a holiday and a vacation, she hit both of these, were things that really, really cost her time and sanity in her journey. So if we can take some lessons from that and make some plans ahead of time so that we don't do that, or at least have a plan of how we're going to come back, that really is helpful to avoid that sabotage from ourselves. How about stress and emotional eating? We've got several calls that you can watch if you go back to the recordings that are on those topics. But I want to point out that those are ways that we can sabotage. When we don't work through those things and we don't make some shifts in how we've always done it, we can be in a space where we give up our future goals for something that's just comfortable now. We don't want to be comfortable now, and so we distract ourselves with food. That's a really powerful way that we sometimes can sabotage what goals we want. And then I've actually had several people, and this came up in a call today, all or nothing thinking. And actually, Mike touched on this today. He said, if you're 99%, that's better than no percent. Sometimes we get ourselves in this mode of thinking that if we are not 100% on, then we can't be on at all, or we're wasting something. You guys, every minute that you're making a decision towards your health, you are empowering yourself. So one of the things, if we can conquer the all or nothing, it's powerful. Ways other people sabotage us. Here we go. Sometimes we dine out. We go to family events. We can have some distractions. Dining out even can be a situation where if you don't make a plan ahead, you can end up seeing what's on someone else's plate, hearing what someone else is ordering. Little tip for that, we also have a call on this, is making a plan and knowing what you're going to order ahead of time. Sometimes you're not in control of your environment. I don't know how many of you work in offices or are back at the office now, where there are scenarios where there's all kinds of things. Spreads of food, there's lots of teachers now that have teacher lounge full, business lunches. If you make a plan and you know what your goal is, you're going to be more likely to withstand those challenges are going to come. Keeping your health a secret is another way that we really can be in a space where others, not even intentionally, can sabotage our journey, right? If someone doesn't know you're on a journey and you have goals because you've been trying to keep it to yourself, they can't support you. They can't offer to go for coffee instead of wine. So it's important to us, if we really want to insulate our health, that we let the people in our lives know. But I do want to point out, and I think it's important, that there are going to be times where someone in your life, maybe they know you're on a health journey, and maybe they see negative things. Maybe they're in a space where they're not supportive of your journey. Dr. A would say that they're an accomplice in your journey. And sometimes when we make healthy choices, it holds up a mirror to the people in our lives, and it's not comfortable. And what I'm saying to you, this happened to me. This happened to me with several people who were important in my life. And it hurt. But I'm going to tell you this. I knew they didn't want me to be sick. They didn't want terrible things for me. But they were not in a space in their lives that they could support where I was and be happy for my journey. And that's why I turned to the community, my coaching friends, why I turned to this to give me that space. To give me the space to have someone to support me so that I wasn't alone. I'm so thankful that you guys are here with us tonight. How do we overcome? Amy and Mike both mentioned we get into our life book. We realize that the obstacle is our way. We figure out what those things are. What is our kryptonite? What is your chocolate-covered pretzel? And make a plan for when that happens, whether it's dining out, whether it's a vacation with friends, whatever it is. And sometimes we've got to get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. We've got to be able to tolerate some distress to move through that emotion to get to that other side. And I want you to think about living your journey out loud and proud. Because if other people know, the vast majority of those people are going to be cheering for you. They're going to be in a space where they are really, really cheering and empowering you to your healthy goal. So, in that vein, I am here to announce, a drum roll if we could have one. We are announcing tonight a Sugar Shot Spring Edition. What goes better with sharing our health loud and proud? If we want the people in our lives to believe in us, to trust that we're on this journey and we're committed, what better way than to announce that we're down 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 2 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, 100 pounds. I've done several 95-pound sugar shots. If I would have thought a little bit ahead, I would have put mine up in here. But all you do, and the wording is right on here, your coach can also share with you. I've done this amount of pounds. Getting healthy has never been so sweet. Thank you so much to my coach and tag your coach for sharing this with you. We are going to be doing a drawing, and that drawing will be for a wellness credit on your account next month. That can go towards your fueling. It's a really, really powerful way to let the people in your life know, hey, I'm really in a space that I need help right now. So if you are at all interested in knowing a little bit about what Mike and Amy and I talked about having our coach community as part of what has helped insulate us in our health journey, you are welcome to hop over. We're going to be leaving this call and heading over to the coach call. It is in the same room as this one, so you're welcome to do that. If not, we will see you next week. And this week, I really want you to think about, go back and screenshot those things in your life and see if you can put some supports in place around those to help so that you, just like Dr. A says, so that you are the dominant force in your own health journey. Thank you so much for being here, you guys.